So how faithful are you? Take the Faithful Citizenship quiz and you'll get an answer right away. For Catholics, participation in the political life is a necessary evil, a near occasion of sin, as satisfying as a great confession, a moral obligation. The answer is a moral obligation. So participation in the political process is not a near occasion of sin or anything like that. It's our moral obligation to live it out. It's our moral obligation to stand in public for what we believe in. It's not separate from what we believe in. How could we separate it? We're called to stand for what we believe in, and it's because we formed our conscience, and it's because we're paying careful attention to the Scripture, to the social teachings of our church, that we can stand with confidence, not just with Catholics, but with a lot of other people of goodwill and of moral conscience who are going to stand with us for what's right. You can tell a faithful citizen is in the room when there's a full eclipse of the sun. The people shake in fear. The room shakes in fear. Someone asks, how will this affect human life and dignity and the poor and powerless among us? This is a tough one, I know. The answer is, when someone asks, how will this affect human life and dignity and the poor and powerless among us? You know, it's in simple ways that we can live our life that will bring the question into people's mind. Well, how does this affect dignity? How does this affect the poor or the weak or the vulnerable? How does that happen? And it happens because we bring that question to the table. And it's our duty as Catholics. It's the basis of Catholic moral teaching that we defend the weak and we defend the vulnerable, and we are not afraid to stand up for those things. And it's not about taking political sides. It's about bringing the question to the table. You know, are we doing justice and honor to this person? A faithful citizen is interested in issues and leaders who promote family life because moms would disapprove otherwise. Who could be against families? It ensures the future of Thanksgiving dinners for generations to come. The family is the basic cell of human society and should be central to all national priorities. Okay, I think I'm starting to see a pattern here. When in doubt, go with D, and that's the answer. The family is the basic cell of human society and should be central to all national priorities. So the family is the basic cell of our society, a father and a mother and their children, and having the safety in which to raise those children and the ability to choose how we want to raise those children well morally, in education, how to choose the best path for their education. That's a building block of our society, and to undermine that or to make that less important would be wrong. It would be taking away from one of the building blocks that makes us who we are as human beings, as a society, as a church. And so that's why we always stand for that. The United States should take a lead role in producing more Big Macs, teaching teenagers how to download music files, raising the number of paid holidays, alleviating global poverty, and promoting peace. So the actual answer is alleviating global poverty and promoting peace. You know, I think it's easy to forget that when we're called to love our neighbor, that's the same call to alleviate poverty, to stand for peace and justice in the world, because those are all our neighbors. And when we look with a global perspective, we realize that to stand up for those who don't have a voice, to stand up for those who are in situations of poverty, who are being treated with injustice. That's what it means to love one another and to love the way Jesus calls us to love. The same is true when Scripture calls us to welcome the stranger among us. In our own country, with immigrants, with those who are trying the best that they can to live their life with dignity and to live as God calls them, it's our job to support that and to love them and to be advocates for them, sometimes when they don't have a voice for themselves. Care for the earth and the environment is better left up to Mother Nature to answer. A good idea for politicians to talk about. An inconvenient truth. A moral issue. The answer is a moral issue. It is a moral issue to protect the earth that we live on. It's our responsibility as stewards of what God has given us to take care and protect the future of the planet that we live on and the life that lives on it. And it's just a natural progression of what it means to have respect and love for each individual, to also protect the environment that each of us lives in, and hopefully our children will live in safely for years to come. So we stand for those things because it is part of God's creation and is part of what God has given us, and we want to take care of that.